Hello and welcome, it's Ginge, and we are going to go over some of the things today that I want and you want to see in Cities Skylines 2, not to mention some news and spoilers at the end, so don't worry, I will do a spoiler alert just before talking about those things. So one of the first things I would like to come in Cities Skylines 2 is some more realistic city problems. Protesting, rioting, accidents, and I know that's not part of a calm city gameplay, but once you start building in Cities Skylines 1, it quickly turns into a traffic management simulator. That's fun, but I would like some more issues to make the game a bit more interesting, like if the Sims are unhappy they can protest or even riot. Roads aren't too good, the Sims may crash or pile up. Talking about crashes, even more realistic hospitals or police as well. The hospitals in Cities Skylines 1 don't actually act like regular hospitals, even modular hospitals or police station would be great. Probably because I work in a hospital myself, I would love to have modular buildings instead of just placing more hospitals or more police stations around the map to help catch up with demand. So instead of building more and more hospitals about, you could just upgrade or add on to existing hospitals or police stations, kind of like what you can do in the SimCity 4. I think that's just a great concept. Another thing I would like in Cities Skylines 2 is smooth roads. So the roads we have in Cities Skylines 1 are probably some of the best roads that we've had in any city building game. The amount of different roads we have now, especially, compared to most city building games like SimCity 4. But they could connect a little bit smoother, especially with highways. Highway entrances and exits in real life are a lot more smoother and run alongside the highway instead of just abruptly turning off. There are ways of making them a lot smoother, mainly with mods like Move It and Fine Road Anarchy, as well as to make them smoother in base game, but it's still not perfect. Mixed-use buildings. Now we've all talked about mixed-use buildings and still can't believe that it's not actually a thing in Cities Skylines. High-density buildings, mainly commercial, have upper floors that could easily have residential room upstairs, and that's what gets me. I would like commercial downstairs, residential upstairs, or even office space above commercial space, basically making them self-sufficient. Talking about zoning, I would also like some low industrial uses like warehouses. So why don't my starter towns and villages have to have massive industrial complexes shadowing over the community, when in real life most towns and villages, even cities, have smaller industry like warehouses? Industry areas don't need towering chimneys with smoke and pollution. Unless you have the industry DLC and change them to farming. Looking at the Cities Skylines 2 trailer, it looks like some of the Park Life DLC and some of the Disaster DLC is kind of making a comeback with large parks, seasons and weather. So it'd be really great if Industries DLC kind of made a little bit of a return in Cities Skylines 2, allowing us to make low industry or farming industry right off the bat. Pedestrians and buildings not being locked to paths on roads. So Sims and buildings are both fully connected to roads and paths in Cities Skylines. I would love if Sims were able to roam freely a little bit more, especially in park areas. I would love them to be able to walk alongside the grass areas in the parks, play, sit down, have picnics, and interact with decorations that you've placed throughout the park like benches and swings. Similar with buildings in real life, not every building is connected to roads. I would love to be able to zone residential buildings and even some commercial buildings alongside pathways. Now to carry on from zoning, I would like more building control over colors, style types, and more precise zoning too, like better buildings in corners. So at the moment zoning is okay, but it could always be better, especially with odd corners and gaps. I hope in Cities Skylines 2 there's more dynamic building spawns to fill out areas and connect in better ways like they do in the wall-to-wall specialization. Also more control over what spawns, like if I want one area just to be bungalows or townhouses or even modern or older buildings. There is technically a way to do that in the game, especially in mods, but it's a lot to flick through and tick every single building that matches. I would like a base game integrated way of doing that. Talking about integrating some mods, I would like some in-game mods like TMP, Move It, and Brush Tool. So many people can't play the game without mods, me kind of included in that. Mods like TMPE, Traffic Control Management, or Move It. As Cities Skyline 1 turns into more of a traffic management game pretty quickly, but without many traffic management controls that you actually need. Move It is another tool that would be great in base game, even the lesser version, so that the base game doesn't break completely. One other tool I would really like is a brush or a line tool for both props and trees. It can get really tiring placing trees down, especially if you're creating a forest, or to even have non-straight lines with your decals. Last but certainly not least, lorry access behind commercial buildings. Like most normal buildings in real life, what commercial building actually have lorries delivering goods through the front doors of the building? I get that this is to stop traffic and to make you think about where you're placing your commercial areas, but I would love if goods can be delivered through the back of commercial buildings if they have a road behind them. If you don't want spoilers for Cities Skylines 2, click away. Here's another video I made, not sure what one it is yet, but it is City Skylines related. If you don't mind spoilers, here's what they are. On the Xbox version, achievements have been leaked, and the first thing we can see here is that City Skylines 2 is most likely coming to the Game Pass. So if you're an Xbox Game Pass holder, that's some great news for you. Some of the achievements in this list do confirm some of the things we've been talking about today. One of those is being a return of City Skylines 1 DLC in some sort of way. Disaster related achievement. Hail, tornadoes and wildfires. Looks like the disaster is making a comeback in the base game of City Skylines 2. Just like the large park in the trailer, I'm hoping for a few other DLCs to make it into the base game, like park life and modular buildings like campuses and airports. Speaking of large modular things, we are getting 150 map tiles. So it looks like we're getting 150 map tiles. That is a megaton compared to the measly 9 we got in City Skylines 1. Now that does also worry me. Are the tiles just going to be a bit smaller, or are the maps going to be a lot bigger? I guess we're just going to have to find out. Asset editor looks like it's coming to console. Another achievement is I made this. It is to use the editor to make an asset of any other type than map. This is huge news for console, as they will now have access to asset editor, meaning even if they don't have modding access at first, they can still have more unique assets in their own games. Rat infestation. Now, this is an achievement that confirms we won't just be worrying about traffic in City Skylines 2. This indicates we will have other problems like rat infestations that I'm guessing can spread. One thing I'm hoping is that this can cause illness and even an outbreak to occur, giving more meaning to our healthcare system in City Skylines 2. All 4 seasons with snow climate. Now at this point we all know City Skylines 2 will include seasons in the base game, but this achievement says by building a city in a climate with a snowy winter, giving more meaning to climates in maps, as hotter climates will not be having a snowy winter, which makes sense. Snapshot. This is an achievement that confirms photo mode will be coming in City Skylines 2, probably just like the one in City Skylines 1. 4 zone types. As you can see here, they've split the 3 to 6 zones into 4, being pedestrian, commercial, industry, and I'm guessing the purple one is office. Now I'm hoping this means that there will be a high and low density for all of them, meaning low density industry, kind of like what we spoke about earlier, and the high and low office space would also be a nice thing too. So that's all I have for you today. If any more info drops, I will be right here. But there's some improvements that I would like in City Skylines 2. Do let me know what you think, and let me know if there's anything different that you would want, or some things that you don't want in City Skylines 2. I've been Ginge, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing. Goodbye for now.